All civilizations ignored them. Until Terrans chose to defend them, the system had no proper name on most star maps. It was marked with faded symbols and old warnings that no one bothered to read anymore. Long ago, explorers had passed through, scanned the planets, and decided there was nothing worth claiming. No rare metals, no powerful gravity wells, no strategic value. After that, the system was forgotten, but life had survived there. On the third planet, cities clung to cracked land near weak oceans. The native people were small, thin, and quiet by nature. Their technology was old and often repaired instead of replaced. Their skies were rarely empty because pirates knew the truth the great civilizations ignored. No one was watching. When pirate ships came, they did not bother to hide. They burned storage centers, stole fuel, and took people. The natives had learned not to scream. Screams only made things worse. They rebuilt each time, slower than before, hoping only to survive another year. Far beyond their star, a Terran exploration fleet was moving through uncharted space. The ships were not large battleships. They were survey vessels built for long travel and quiet observation. Captain Evan Cole stood on the command deck of the lead ship, reading data that made no sense to him. "There are population markers," he said, "but no claim records, no protection flags." His science officer, Lena Hart, checked the numbers again. "The population is small, technology level is low, they should not still be alive out here." Evan frowned. "But they are." The fleet slowed as they entered the system. The planet came into view, scarred and dim but clearly inhabited. Broken orbital platforms floated like dead shells above it. "Scans show recent damage," Lena said. "Within the last few months." Evan did not respond right away. He watched the planet rotate slowly beneath the stars. He had seen war zones before. This felt different. This felt abandoned. "Any signals?" he asked. "Weak ones," the comm officer replied. "Old frequencies, not designed for interstellar reach." Evan nodded. "Boost our receiver." "Let's listen." It took time to translate the signals. The language was simple, built around survival needs. When the meaning finally came through, the bridge grew quiet. It was not a call for trade. It was not a greeting. It was a warning to their own people, repeated again and again. "Hide, power down, do not look at the sky." "They're afraid of ships," Lena said softly. Evan felt something tighten in his chest. "Because ships bring pain." Terran protocol was clear, observation only. No interference unless authorized, but protocol had been written for empty worlds and equal powers, not places like this. "Send a message," Evan said. "Low power, peace signal." Minutes passed, then a reply came, short, broken, careful. "Who are you? Why are you here?" Evan leaned forward. "Send this. We are Terrans, we are explorers, we will not harm you." The response took longer this time. Many have said that. The fleet received more data as scans continued. Cities rebuilt over ruins. Emergency shelters used as homes. Energy grids patched together from old designs. These people had never known peace, only pauses between attacks. Lena turned to Evan. "Captain, there's pirate traffic logged through this system. Frequent, no resistance." Evan looked at the tactical display. Even without battleships, the Terran fleet could crush any pirate force that dared approach. The question was not could they help, it was should they. Terran High Command was days away by message relay. If Evan waited, the fleet would move on. That was the safe choice. The approved choice. He imagined leaving. Imagined pirate ships returning once the Terrans were gone. Imagined the warning signals repeating, useless. "Open a channel to the planet," Evan said. "Captain," Lena warned, "this goes beyond survey authority." "I know," Evan replied calmly. "Open the channel." The image that appeared was unclear. A thin figure stood in dim light. Large eyes, skin marked by old scars. The figure spoke slowly, as if each word carried risk. "If you are hunters, finish it quickly." Evan swallowed. "We are not hunters, we are human. We saw you were suffering." Silence followed. Then very quietly the figure asked, "Why do you care?" Evan did not answer right away. He searched for a reason that made sense in galactic terms. There was none. "Because someone should," he finally said. The transmission ended without goodbye. Hours later, long-range sensors picked up incoming ships. Fast, armed, pirate design. "They're back already," Lena said. "They didn't even wait." Evan straightened. "Signal all ships." Defensive formation. No pursuit beyond the planet's orbit. The fleet moved smoothly, practiced and calm. When the pirate ships entered range, they did not broadcast threats. They had done this too many times to bother. The first warning shot from a Terran ship tore through empty space, clean and precise. "This system is under Terran observation," Evan transmitted. "Leave now." The pirate leader laughed over the open channel. "Observation does not mean protection, human." "It does today," Evan replied. The battle was short. Terran weapons disabled engines, weapons, and shields with careful control. Pirate ships drifted helplessly, stunned by resistance they had never faced here. The survivors fled as soon as they could jump. On the planet below, the people watched the sky burn with light that did not fall on their cities. For the first time, ships fought for them instead of over them. Lena looked at Evan. "The galaxy will notice this." "Yes," Evan said. "Eventually." "What do we tell Command?" Evan stared at the planet again. "We tell them the truth, that we found people everyone else ignored." Days passed. Terran engineers helped stabilize orbital defenses. Medical teams treated injuries that had gone untreated for years. The natives watched from a distance at first, waiting for the moment the humans would leave. But the Terrans stayed. A council of elders met with Evan in a simple hall built from recycled metal. They did not bow, they did not beg. One elder spoke. "Protection always has a price." "What is yours?" Evan shook his head. "There is no price." The elders exchanged uneasy looks. "That makes no sense," one said. "I know," Evan replied. A message finally arrived from Terran High Command. It was careful, concerned, demanding explanation. Evan sent his report without changing a word. He described the planet, the people, the attacks. He described the choice he had made. The reply took hours to come back. "Hold position, further instructions pending." Evan exhaled slowly. It was not approval. But it was not an order to leave. Far across the stars, other civilizations began to hear rumors. Pirates complaining of lost ships, traders speaking of humans defending a worthless world. They laughed at first. No one laughed on the planet anymore. For the first time in generations, children slept without listening for engines in the sky. And above them, Terran ships held their silent watch, having made a choice that would change far more than a single forgotten system. The message from Terran High Command did not bring comfort. It brought attention. Across the command deck, screens filled with signals, requests, and quiet warnings. Word had spread faster than expected. Pirate channels complained of lost ships. Traders whispered that humans had drawn a line around a world no one wanted. Diplomatic networks began asking questions that carried sharp edges. Captain Evan Cole stood near the main display, hands behind his back. He looked calm, but his mind was busy. Every choice had weight now. "They are watching us," Lena Hart said. "Not just Command, others." Evan nodded. That was always going to happen. On the planet below, life was changing in small, careful steps. Terran engineers repaired power stations and water systems, but they did not replace everything. They worked with local tools, local designs. They explained what they were doing. They listened. The people of the planet did not rush forward. They observed from doorways and rooftops. Trust, for them, was a slow thing. A young local technician stood beside a Terran engineer holding a worn tablet. His hands shook as he spoke. "If this fails, the city will lose heat." The Terran smiled gently. "Then we will fix it again together." The technician stared, confused. "You won't leave." "Not today," the Terran replied. In orbit, the fleet expanded its sensor range. They mapped pirate jump points, old wrecks, and hidden routes. This system had been used as a hunting ground for decades. Clearing it would not be easy. Lena brought up a new signal. "Captain, incoming diplomatic hail, Galactic Council relay." Evan sighed quietly. "Put it through." The image that appeared was sharp and cold. A council representative, tall and rigid, spoke without greeting. "Terran Captain, your fleet has violated established non-claim protocols. That system is unregistered." "That is correct," Evan replied evenly. "Then you have no authority to defend it." Evan's eyes did not move. "Authority and responsibility are not the same thing." The representative narrowed its eyes. "You risk destabilizing regional balance. Withdraw your forces." Evan took a breath. "We will not." Silence followed. Then the representative spoke again, slower this time. "You gain nothing from this." "That depends on how you measure gain," Evan said. The channel closed without agreement. Lena exhaled. "That went poorly." "It went honestly," Evan replied. Another message arrived minutes later. Not diplomatic, military. A nearby empire announced a scheduled patrol through the system. Their wording was polite, their ship count was not. "They're testing us," Lena said. "Yes," Evan agreed, "and watching how we respond." Evan ordered the fleet into visible formation. Not aggressive, not weak, clear. On the planet, the elders noticed the increased activity in the sky. Fear returned to their eyes. "They are coming again," one elder said. Evan stood before them. "Some may try, we are prepared." The elder studied him. "Why do you stand where no one else would?" Evan answered slowly. "Because if no one stands here, then this keeps happening, forever." The elder nodded once. "Then we will stand too." Local volunteers began training with Terran advisors, not soldiers, not yet, watchers, medics. Engineers, people who could help their own cities survive. Pirate activity increased at the edges of the system. Small probes, quick scans, no direct attacks. "They are waiting for weakness," Lena said. "They won't find it," Evan replied. Then came the news that changed everything. A merchant convoy jumped into the system under pirate escort. The pirates did not attack the planet. They landed. "They're trading," Lena said, stunned. Evan's jaw tightened. "With who?" Scans revealed the answer. A corporate faction from a distant civilization, legal, powerful, and very careful with rules. "They're offering protection contracts," Lena said. "Cheap ones. They plan to claim the system through commerce." Evan understood immediately. "They want to make our presence look like interference." On the planet, the elders were approached by off-world agents, polite, well-dressed, smiling. "We can protect you," the agent said, "legally, permanently." "And the cost?" an elder asked. The agent smiled wider. "Exclusive mining rights, labor agreements, long-term oversight." The elder looked at the contract, at the fine print, at the history of broken promises. They asked for time. Evan was informed of the offer hours later. "They're exploiting fear," Lena said. "Yes," Evan replied. "And rules?" Terran High Command sent another message, firmer this time. "Your actions are creating political complications. Clarify your long-term intent." Evan wrote his response carefully. "We intend to protect these people until they can protect themselves." The reply was delayed. The corporate faction made its move the next day. Their ships positioned themselves between the Terran fleet and the planet, not hostile, just present. "We are here under legal authority," their leader announced. "You are obstructing trade." Evan opened a channel. "You are exploiting a vulnerable population." "That is not illegal," the leader replied calmly. Evan felt anger rise, but he kept his voice steady. "It should be," the leader smiled. "Morality does not govern space, Captain." Evan ended the channel. On the planet, the elders gathered again. The people listened from outside the hall. One elder spoke. "If we choose the contracts, the attacks may stop, but we lose ourselves." Another replied, "If we refuse, the humans may be forced to leave." A third elder said quietly, "The humans did not ask for payment." Silence followed. They called for Evan. He arrived without guards. "We will not decide for you," Evan said. "This is your world." The eldest looked at him. "If we refuse, will you stay?" Evan answered without hesitation. "Yes," the elder nodded. "Then we refuse." The corporate agents were furious. Threats followed, legal warnings, appeals to the council. Evan's fleet did not move. Then the patrol fleet arrived, massive, heavily armed. "This is your last warning," the Empire commander transmitted. "Withdraw." Evan ordered his ships forward just enough to block the approach. "We will not fire unless fired upon," he said, "but we will not move." Hours passed. Fleets stared at each other across cold space. Finally, the patrol commander spoke again. "Why risk war for them?" Evan looked at the planet on his screen, at the lights that now stayed on through the night. "Because if we don't," he said, "then no one ever will." The patrol fleet jumped away. Across the system, something shifted, not on maps, not in treaties, but in thought. Other small worlds began sending quiet signals, old distress calls, questions, hopeful, afraid hope. Lena looked at Evan. "We've started something." Evan nodded slowly. "Yes." Below them, the people of the planet stood beneath a sky that no longer felt empty. They knew danger would return. They knew the galaxy was not kind, but they also knew this. They had not been ignored. And that knowledge, more than weapons or ships, was changing everything. The waiting did more damage than open battle ever could. Every hour the Terran fleet held position, more eyes turned toward the forgotten system. Sensors detected distant probes, passive scans, and silent observers hiding behind lawful excuses. The galaxy was measuring the humans. Captain Evan Cole understood this. He knew that if the Terrans hesitated now, everything they had done would be rewritten as a mistake. Weakness would invite force. Silence would invite erasure. On the planet below, life continued under tension. Markets reopened, but guards stood watch. Children played, but they looked up often, counting ships. The people had chosen defiance beside the Terrans, and now they waited to see the cost of that choice. Lena Hart stood beside Evan on the command deck, reading new reports. "Pirate movement is changing," she said. "They're not coming in groups anymore, they're spreading out." Evan frowned. "They're hunting for gaps." "Yes, and they're learning our patterns." "Then we change them." He ordered the fleet to rotate patrols, vary jump signatures, and deploy decoy beacons. The Terrans moved like a living thing, never predictable, never still. The pirates tested them that same day. A single raider slipped in at the edge of the system, fast and quiet. It did not head for the planet. It aimed for a Terran supply ship. "They want to see if we protect our own or the locals," Lena said. Evan did not hesitate. "Intercept." Two Terran ships moved instantly, cutting off the raider's escape. The pirate fired wildly, then tried to jump. Its drive failed under precise Terran fire. The pirate captain transmitted surrender signals within seconds. "Bring them in," Evan said. "Alive." The capture sent a clear message. Humans did not protect selectively, they protected completely. The prisoner was questioned under observation. He was nervous, angry, and confused. "This place was free," the pirate shouted. "No flags, no rules." Evan watched him through the glass. "It was never free, it was abandoned." The pirate laughed bitterly. "Same thing." "No," Evan said quietly. "Very different." The pirate was later released at the edge of the system with his ship disabled but intact. He would survive. He would also talk. Within days, the pressure grew heavier. The corporate faction filed formal complaints. The Galactic Council demanded explanations. A joint statement accused Terrans of emotional interference and destabilization. Terran High Command sent another message. "This situation is escalating beyond acceptable limits. Prepare contingency plans." Evan read it twice. He understood the meaning beneath the words. Support was no longer guaranteed. Lena looked at him. "If command pulls us back?" "They won't," Evan said. "Not yet." "But if they do?" Evan turned to the stars. "Then we make sure this world can stand without us." That became the new mission. Training intensified on the planet. Not just defense, but coordination, early warning systems, evacuation plans, knowledge sharing. The Terrans taught without commanding. They explained why, not just how. A local woman named Aris worked closely with Terran engineers. She was quiet, sharp-eyed, and relentless. "You assume pirates think like soldiers," she said during a planning session. "They do," a Terran officer asked. "They think like hunger," Aris replied. "They go where fear already lives." Evan listened carefully. "Then we remove the fear." The idea spread quickly. Cities began broadcasting calm, confident signals instead of silence. Lights stayed on. Movement was visible. "We're bait," Lena said. "Yes," Evan replied, "but bait that bites back." The pirates returned in force 3 days later. This time they did not test, they attacked. Multiple fleets jumped in at once, overwhelming by number if not by strength. They aimed straight for the planet, confident that Terrans would be stretched thin. Evan had expected this. "Phase 1, he ordered calmly. Terran ships pulled back, drawing pirates deeper into the system. Decoys activated. False signals appeared everywhere. The pirates split up, chasing targets. That was the mistake. Hidden Terran strike groups emerged from dark space, hitting engines, sensors, and command ships. They did not destroy. They disabled. On the planet, shields activated for the first time in history. Not powerful, but layered. Enough. Aris stood at a control station, hands steady. "They're confused," she said. "They didn't expect us to coordinate." "They never do," Evan replied. One pirate fleet broke through and descended toward a city. Panic rose. Evan's voice cut through the noise. "Hold!" A Terran frigate dropped between the pirates and the atmosphere, taking heavy fire. Its shields flared dangerously. "Captain, they'll overload," Lena warned. "I know," Evan said. The frigate did not retreat. It held position long enough for ground defenses to activate. Simple weapons, old tech, but focused, determined. The pirate ships turned away too late. The battle ended with pirate fleets retreating in chaos. Disabled ships drifted everywhere, trapped. The galaxy watched. No Terran ship was lost. On the planet, the people cheered openly for the first time, not because the danger was gone, but because it had been faced. Then the real test arrived. A message from the Galactic Council came through all channels. Mandatory hearing, immediate. "They're forcing a decision," Lena said. Evan nodded. "Then we answer." The hearing was broadcast across known space. Representatives from powerful civilizations filled the display. You have violated non-intervention standards, the council leader said. You have inspired unrest. Evan stood alone before the camera, no banners, no threats. We defended people who were being harmed, he said. That is not your role. Then whose is it? Evan asked. Silence followed. A representative spoke. If every civilization acted as you did, chaos would follow. Evan nodded. If no civilization does, suffering continues. The council accused the Terrans of creating dependency. Evan responded calmly. We are creating capacity. They accused him of emotional decision-making. Evan replied, so is ignoring suffering. Finally, a question was asked that cut deeper. What happens when you leave? Evan did not look away. Then they will be stronger than they were before we came. The hearing ended without verdict. Terran High Command sent a final private message. You are pushing the limits of our mandate. Evan responded with a single line, then expanded. Days later, something unexpected happened. A small fleet from a minor civilization jumped into the system. They did not bring weapons. They brought supplies. Another followed, then another, quiet support, careful, unofficial. They're following our lead, Lena said in disbelief. Yes, Evan replied, but they're watching to see if we break. On the planet, the elders gathered once more. This time their posture was different, straighter, stronger. We were invisible, one elder said. Now others see us. Aris looked at the sky, because someone stood first. That night, Evan walked alone through one of the cities, no guards, just people. They nodded as he passed. Some smiled. A child waved. Evan waved back. He knew the galaxy had not changed yet. Power still ruled space. Rules still protected the strong, but something had cracked. Fear was no longer one-sided. And for the first time, the Terrans realized the truth of what they had begun. Defending the ignored did not just protect the weak. It exposed the lies the strong had lived by. And the galaxy was running out of excuses. The system no longer felt forgotten. Traffic moved through it now, careful and slow, as if every ship understood it was entering a place being watched. Not just by Terrans, but by the idea the Terrans had made real. That made many powerful beings uncomfortable. Captain Evan Cole felt that discomfort in every message he received. Terran High Command remained silent longer than usual. That silence was heavier than orders. It meant debate. It meant division. On the planet, the people sensed the change as well. Fewer pirate probes appeared, but more distant warships lingered at the edges of the system. Not hostile, not friendly, waiting. Lena Hart reviewed the latest sensor data. 3 major empires have fleets within 2 jumps, she said. They're coordinating without saying it out loud. Evan nodded. They want to see who blinks first. They might force us out without firing a shot, Lena said. Sanctions, trade pressure, legal isolation. Yes, Evan said quietly. That's how power avoids looking cruel. Below them, the cities continued to grow stronger. Power grids stabilized. Communication networks improved. Early warning systems linked every settlement. The people moved with purpose now, not fear. Aris stood on a high platform overlooking a rebuilt district. They're afraid, she said to a Terran advisor beside her. Of what? He asked. Of losing control of the story, she replied. The advisor smiled faintly. Humans know that feeling. The first direct strike did not come from pirates or empires, it came from the law. The Galactic Council issued a formal ruling. The Terrans were ordered to withdraw within a fixed time window. Failure to comply would result in unified response measures. They've dressed it up nicely, Lena said, but it's an ultimatum. Evan read the ruling slowly. Every word had been chosen to sound reasonable. They are giving us a chance to leave quietly, he said, and if we do, Lena asked, then they will make an example of us. The message spread quickly across the fleet. Officers gathered, serious but calm, no panic, no shouting. They want us gone, one officer said. Yes, Evan replied, because we stayed. Another asked the question no one wanted to voice. What if command orders us to comply? Evan did not answer immediately. Then we obey, he said finally, but not before we prepare. Preparation began at once. Terran engineers transferred knowledge openly. Defense plans were shared without restriction. Command codes were simplified so locals could maintain systems themselves. Nothing was hidden. You're giving us everything, an elder said. Why? Evan looked at the elder steadily. Because ownership is protection. The elder understood. The corporate faction returned next, this time without smiles. If the Terrans leave, you will stand alone, their agent warned the Council of Elders. Others will not be so gentle. Eris stepped forward. "We are not alone," she said. The agent laughed. "You will be." The elders refused to sign anything. In orbit, Terran ships began repositioning, not retreating, anchoring. "They think we're preparing to fight the Council," Lena said. "No," Evan replied. "We're preparing to endure it." Terran High Command finally sent a message. "This cannot continue indefinitely. Political costs are mounting." Evan responded carefully. "Then allow us to finish what we started." The reply came hours later. "Define finish." Evan looked at the planet. At the people who were no longer hiding. At the children who played under open skies, long enough that leaving is no longer abandonment. No answer followed. The first sanction hit Terran trade routes within a day. Ships were delayed, cargo was inspected, fees increased. Then another sanction followed, then another. "They're squeezing," Lena said. "Yes," Evan agreed, "but they're not striking." Yet the fleet felt the pressure. Supplies had to be rationed, repairs took longer, morale was tested, but no one asked to leave. Then came the incident. A neutral medical ship attempting to reach the planet was intercepted by an Allied Empire fleet and turned away. "They're cutting humanitarian access," Lena said, anger sharp in her voice. Evan's expression hardened. "That changes things." He opened a channel to the blocking fleet. "You are denying medical aid," Evan said. The opposing commander replied coolly. "This system is under dispute." "There are civilians," Evan said. "There are always civilians," the commander replied. Evan ended the channel. He turned to his officers. "Escort the medical ship in." "That could be seen as aggression," one warned. Evan nodded. "So can cruelty." Terran ships moved forward in perfect formation, not fast, not slow, certain. The opposing fleet hesitated. For a long moment, space held its breath. Then the opposing commander ordered his ships aside. The medical ship passed through. Across the galaxy, the message was clear. The Terrans would not obey rules that harmed the helpless. That night, a quiet message arrived from Terran High Command. It was not official, it was personal. "You are forcing a reckoning we have avoided for a long time." Evan read it twice. Good, he thought. The reckoning came sooner than expected. A coalition fleet formed near the system, larger than anything seen so far, unified under Council authority. "They're done waiting," Lena said. "Yes," Evan replied. "So are we." The elders were informed. There was no panic, only resolve. "We have prepared," one elder said. "If you must leave, we will stand." Evan felt the weight of that trust. "We are not leaving today," he said. The coalition fleet transmitted its final warning, "Withdraw immediately." Evan did not answer. Instead, he broadcast something else. Live footage of the planet, cities. Hospitals, schools, faces. "These people were ignored," Evan said over open channels. "They asked for nothing. We chose to stand with them. If that is a crime, then judge us openly." The transmission spread before it could be stopped. Across the galaxy, citizens watched. Not governments, not fleets, people. The coalition fleet hesitated. Within the Terran fleet, every ship powered shields, not weapons, shields. "We're not here to conquer," Evan said quietly. "We're here to protect." Hours passed, then something unprecedented happened. A ship from within the coalition broke formation and powered down weapons. Another followed, then another. "They're refusing the order," Lena whispered. The coalition commander sent frantic signals. Discipline began to fracture. Finally, the council issued a temporary stand-down. No withdrawal, no attack. A pause, the most dangerous thing of all. On the planet, the people watched the sky, hearts pounding. Eris stood beside an elder. "Is it over?" The elder shook his head. "No, but it is different." Evan returned to his quarters for the first time in days. Exhaustion hit him hard. He knew this was not victory, but it was proof. The galaxy could no longer pretend neutrality was harmless. By choosing to defend the ignored, the Terrans had forced everyone else to choose as well. And once a choice is made, it cannot be unseen. The system still had no proper name, but it was no longer forgotten. It had become a question the galaxy could not escape. The pause after the stand-down was heavy and uncertain. No fleet moved, no weapons fired. Across the system, engines stayed warm, shields stayed raised, and every commander waited for someone else to make the next mistake. Captain Evan Cole knew this kind of silence. It was the silence before history changed. On the Terran command deck, the crew stayed focused, but tension lived in every breath. Supplies were low, political support was fragile. One wrong move could still turn the pause into disaster. Lena Hart checked incoming data streams. "Public channels are flooded," she said. "Civilian networks, independent media, people are talking." About us? Evan asked. About the planet, Lena replied. About why no one helped before. That mattered more. On the planet below, life continued carefully but openly. Markets stayed open. Schools remained active. Medical centers worked day and night. The people knew the danger had not passed, but they also knew they were not alone anymore. Aris walked through one of the rebuilt streets, watching children draw symbols on the ground with simple chalk. Ships, stars. Human and local figures standing together. An elder joined her. They are no longer drawing hiding places, he said quietly. Aris nodded. They don't feel invisible anymore. That feeling was spreading far beyond the system. Across the galaxy, citizens of powerful civilizations began asking questions their leaders did not like. Why was protection only for those with value? Why did rules excuse suffering? Why did humans care when others did not? The Galactic Council reconvened under pressure it had not felt in generations. Not military pressure, social pressure. Reports came in of small worlds refusing exploitative contracts, of minor fleets escorting refugees without permission, of soldiers questioning orders that targeted civilians. The idea had escaped containment. Terran High Command finally sent a full message, not to Evan alone but to the entire fleet. You have altered the strategic environment. Withdrawal is no longer feasible without greater harm. Evan closed his eyes briefly. That was not approval, but it was acknowledgement. A follow-up message arrived moments later. You are authorized to remain under one condition. Lena leaned forward. What condition? Evan read silently, then spoke. We formalize this protection openly, permanently. An official claim? Lena asked. No, Evan replied, a declaration. The Terrans broadcasted hours later. This world is not owned, it is protected. Any harm done here will be answered. No demands, no tribute, no control, just responsibility. The reaction was immediate. Some empires protested loudly. Others quietly adjusted their borders. A few, unexpectedly, announced similar protections for worlds they had long ignored. The coalition fleet withdrew in stages, careful not to appear defeated. Pride was preserved. That, too, mattered. Pirate activity vanished almost overnight. No hunting ground was worth this much attention. On the planet, the elders gathered one last time with Evan. This time they stood in a hall filled with light and sound, not shadows. You could have ruled us, one elder said. Others would have. Evan shook his head. Then we would have become what we oppose. Aris spoke next. What happens now? Evan smiled slightly. Now you grow. And one day you protect someone else. That idea settled deep. Weeks passed, then months. Terran ships rotated in and out, but a presence remained, not as overlords, as watchers. Trade arrived, fair and cautious. Cultural exchanges followed. The planet gained a name, chosen by its own people and recorded on every star map. It was no longer marked with warnings. It was marked with trust. Evan prepared to leave at last, reassigned to another sector. On his final walk through the city, people stopped him often. Not to beg, to thank, a child ran up and handed him a small drawing. Humans and locals standing beneath a wide sky. Evan knelt and accepted it carefully. Keep it, the child said. So you remember us, Evan nodded. I won't forget. As his ship lifted into orbit, the planet did not feel small anymore. Lena stood beside him on the deck. Do you think this will last? Evan watched the lights below. Nothing lasts forever, but this will last long enough. For what? For the galaxy to learn. Far away, new signals began to appear. Not distress calls, requests, not for rescue, for guidance. Human ships received them quietly, carefully. The reputation spread. Terrans were not the strongest, not the most advanced, not the most ruthless. But if they chose to stand with you, they did not move. Civilizations learned to pause before ignoring suffering. Pirates learned to avoid places marked by quiet human watch. Councils learned that rules without conscience invited rebellion. And small worlds learned something even more important. Being weak did not mean being worthless. Years later, historians would argue about the moment everything changed. Some would point to fleets, others to speeches, but the truth was simpler. All civilizations ignored them. Until humans chose not to. And once that choice was made, the galaxy could never go back to pretending it did not see.